No more second chances. It is time for the postseason. Welcome, everybody, to the Pennsylvania Interscholastic Esports Association State Playoffs, powered by TEC. We're into the quarterfinals and on our Monday day of Overwatch. My name's Llama77, and joined as always with the most handsome man in the entire world. It's the one and only Hot Sauce, Mr. Sauce. How you doing this afternoon?
Doing great, but it feels like it's been too long since we've been back in the PIEA TEC booth. So I'm excited to be back here. I know that you and I both will be at Mount Aloysius here in a couple weeks as well. So looking forward to the championship, but we've got a couple exciting matches to get through here today to decide who gets to head in toward that direction. As Llama said, West Branch, that #1 seed, taking on Penn Manor, the #8 seed here. It's going to be an exciting day to kick things off.
West Branch won out the Elite Conference, earned that #1 overall seed, while Penn Manor actually won a conference in their own right. The highest ranking non-elite team here versus the highest ranked overall team, but it is still a 1-versus-8 matchup and a best of 5. The most important thing, as we said, there are no more second chances. There's no losers bracket or anything. You lose this one, your season is over. And to even up the stakes even more, you win this one, you're going to Mount Aloysius.
Yeah, and that's an exciting thing for these students to get to experience that land, especially on a state championship level. So neither of them had a particularly easy route to get here, but they showed that their hard work has paid off, and they've come to this big moment here, an opportunity to look to head in toward those semifinals. But again, Penn Manor having to get through not only an elite squad, but the #1 elite squad. So not an easy ask for them here today, but certainly excited to see what they got to show.
For West Branch, they just got to do the business, and if they can win, as they've been doing so often throughout the regular season, they can punch their ticket. Well, we're keeping with pretty much the same rules we have been throughout all of the postseason. Obviously, they will start on some form of control. After that, the team that loses will be able to pick the map and the mode of where we are going. Of course, we've added legend bands, or hero bands rather, in there to spice things up just a little bit more and invent some different compositions.
Yeah, each team's going to get one hero ban per map. And I know formerly, at least throughout the regular season, we had tossed Kings Row out of that rotation just to kind of, add some spice, some variety to the mix. But Kings Row now back in that map pool, so we might very well see that here today. But I like the fact that we have added in some of these hero bands. I think now with the vast pool of heroes that we have, it throws just a little interesting wrench into the mix here. And if you know a specific team is very good, or maybe they have a standout role, a standout player, you can ban away that player that they're very comfortable with. So VOD review, we talked about it all season. It's important here, even in the postseason.
Oh, it is very, very important. And just another little bit of background information, we've got a new hero as well, Freya, who is absolutely available to play. Hazard has been activated as well. So the Bolas and the frontline Purple Man both available to try and win you some team fights. Now, they could be banned maybe just if you aren't as comfortable with them or playing against them, but it'll really be interesting to see where these target bans go. If I'm playing against West Branch, I'm banning the ball. I'm sorry, I have to do it.
And I feel like we haven't seen a ton of the ball from Ball Diff, though. He talked about it a couple times. He broke it out for fun to get back, but he felt like the comp really didn't work with the squad. So I know we'd seen a lot of other characters for them, but I think that's the nice thing about only one ban is, it's tough to pick just one when you have such a vast roster there. And so I'm sure Ball Diff very comfortable on multiple different tanks, but you do make a very interesting point there.
Obviously, today we've also got some other streams going on. If you want to catch all those other quarterfinal games, we've got a lot of them. So make sure you're not only following here on our main channel, but all the rest of them, as Carlisle will play Loyal Zoc down as the 2-7 seed. Spring Grove is playing CB South. And then our second matchup of the day, we actually don't know who's going to be playing just yet. South Fayette, the Lions, the 20 seed, the lowest ranked team still left in the quarterfinals, will be playing after this. Their opponent is still to be determined.
Yeah, we just have to wait a little bit longer to figure out exactly who they're going against. And right now, I think we're just going through some map bans and or picks, so it shouldn't be too much longer before we get that action underway. But we talked about Hazard now being available, Freya as well. I did get to cast a showcase of high school talent here recently in this weekend, but I didn't see much Freya. I saw her one time on the battlefield, but I feel like I don't know how much we'll see her here today. These students have kind of played a very similar roster throughout the entirety of the season. It feels like they don't switch too much unless they have to find a counter a pick. So I'm not sure if we'll see her. Hazard, on the other hand, excuse me, has been pretty good at dealing with like Maga and things like that in some of those close quarter combat. So we may see Hazard today.
Yeah, funny enough, I was actually casting some Overwatch on the weekend. I saw a ton of Freya, so it feels like it's all about that comfortability. And I feel like Freya's really good at just killing tanks, doing some great damage, and that ultimate, the bolas are good at just looping everybody together. And those combination ultimates, if you want to fire it off with something maybe like a Deadeye to group everybody in one place. But comfortability is going to be huge. But winning maps is going to be even more important. We're still playing our regular 1-to-3, best-of-5, whatever you want to call it format. And it is, again, a series that if you don't win, this is the end of your season.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. They've experienced something similar in some previous LAN competitions and those conference championships as well. But it's that win, or go home, that do or die type attitude at this point. And Lijiang Tower will be that first one. Another staple, much like Kings Row here. So this doesn't surprise me, but honestly, I enjoy Ilios. I think it's a fun map that's viable for a few different compositions, and a couple of these submaps have that boop potential, if you will. So those are always things I look forward to.
That's my favorite thing. I mean, this is playoffs. I mean, everybody's high tense that Elusio just comes in to ruin it all. Of course, the team fights are going to be hotly contested, but also for these two teams, you feel like both coming in off of victory. It's somewhat different than maybe some of the other postseason or regular season matchups. You've got to keep winning and keep that momentum going. So, VOD reviewing everything you said all the way together, but it is our playoff time here. West Branch, Penn Manor. Let's play some Overwatch.
Here we go, right on down to it. I believe this is Garden here that we're starting out on. So another one of these maps here that has that boot potential around that point. If you can get that fast rollout and kind of meet them at that opponent's bridge, you can typically maybe find a boop there as well. But it looks like both of these teams are looking for that fast roll. You have IJV here on the team of Penn Manor. Ironically, one of the students I just saw in the showcase I did this weekend, but Shunem, an incredibly talented player. We've seen him on the tank a lot, but on that Freya that we were wondering about, West Branch has a Freya as well. So, maybe you got to see a lot more of it than I did, but I'm certainly excited to see it here today.
We'll see how it works, and maybe just a feel of the water to see how good it is. Both are going to go for the quick teleportation from the sim and then swap back over to their respective DPSs. For Inky Bear, it's going to be the Venture. For Big Jiffer, it's going to be the Genji. And now for Freya, very, very not tanky themselves. Very volatile glass cannon build, but can be good at damaging the tank. And Cigaretto is already going to take down Nyan Kiwi here. A huge opener for Penn Manor.
Great job here from Pig Manor, and not only IJV, but Big Jiffer was in that recent May showcase I was able to cast. Their team went on to win that as well, which is kind of like a combine for colleges to watch. So it's great to see him back out here with Penn Manor, already firing on all cylinders and doing well against this elite squad of West Branch.
You got to play with full confidence, and Penn Manor is doing exactly that. Like we said, even though they're the 8th seed, the highest rated non-elite crew, and they want to fight back with that chip on their shoulder, knowing they weren't in that elite conference to start things off during this semester. It's no real swaps up here as West Branch look for the re-engage.
Inky Bear here on this Venture. A lot of mobility, really great damage, especially in toward the back line. Inky finds Zebra, shoot him. Quick to answer back on ball dip as Inky Inky gets IJV here as well. And so a bit of back and forth, but now West Branch starting to find that domino effect. They'll get 4 now, and with that, should be able to take control of the point here.
Shunem gets the one-on-one victory against the Freya on the other side, but that's all they'll get for now. Bolas are going to be charged up for the game slays as West Branch look to build up their percentage. Now they're going to guard out this bridge, trying to get a boop, and that's a perfect hug. So Guretu is dead, and so is Zebra Girl. That's a 3 straight kill streak here for West Branch, and Penn Manor need to look for an answer, but they're not going to look to stagger in.
Yeah, I mean, West Branch stumbling just a little bit here in the opener, but they found their way, and they've got 3, almost 4 ults to work with versus the 0 from Penn Manor. So a real opportunity now for them to gain in here and push to take the lead. It will be on toward the backside. The window goes up. Inky finds the first one. With Mauga going down early, West Branch is going to need to regroup yet again.
Warriors here holding on to this window, and overall they've got the Venture ult still up and available. They're just holding the buttons, not using them. Penn Manor is having to re-engage at this bridge, and against Delucio, that's not what you want to do. Bola, whole hog, it's time to press some buttons. On the other side though, it's going to be the sound barrier to give them that extra HP, and now the battle back. Bola's kill 2, and then the re-engage, the shockwaves, and the cage on top of it. The sound barrier from Firelord kept the fight going, and West Branch is able to clean it down.
Yeah, Penn Manor almost able to come in with some success there. They had some nice picks. Shunem now, though, swapping off this Freya on toward the Sojourn as Inky Bear continues to be a menace with his Venture. And now Sugaretto, IJV just now respawning. So Penn Manor has to regroup here. They've got at least one more fight territory, and it looks like they're working around toward the backside once more.
Comets have got 10% to give. It's got to be now, and for the game, Slays is going to take down Big Jiffer. It doesn't matter. Against the Kitsune rush, they rush at their face. Voldiff is down. That's a huge frontline piece. Sugarageto is able to take down one more, and the Emmy field falls with it. Penn Manor, IJV double kills. They retake the point.
Just in the nick of time, as we saw that overtime fuse was lit. Unfortunately, they don't have a ton of ultimates to work with. Luckily, neither does the other side, but there is a couple fight territory here for West Branch. Firelord just now coming back, so they need to take a moment here to regroup, but certainly time still on their favor at the moment. It appears that they are going to opt to head toward that backside as well.
From the back door here, West Branch have got to make sure Voldiff stays alive. Has died early in a few of these fights here. Sugarageto is going to put in the damage on this Mauga. Inky Bear down to half. IJV almost with that barrier up and available, but Voldiff takes down Shunem. Big Jiffer is not consistent. Damage is going to need to find the back line, but it's the self-heal from Voldiff. Mauga charges forward using the cardiac overdrive, but Voldiff just overdrives them out of the point. 99%, one overtime fuse remains, and Inky Bear is sending shockwaves to the backline. Shunem is back, ready to drive in. IJV holds the line until West Branch steals it away.
Oh, close. They get to that 99% as well, and they're going to have to look to pressure back on, potential risk of stagger, but they can't quite get there. So West Branch, a little bit difficult of a start for them, but they were able to hone in those skills, and they'll take this first submap here 100 to 99. It's very close and maybe a little bit telling for how this series might play out.
Already a close one. I want to see exactly more of that. I think for Penn Manor, a lot of those fights decided by when they were popping those ultimates, and you look back to one of those mid-range fights that kind of took 8 or 9 ultimates out of the mix from a combined both sides. West Branch is not going to change anything up. I think for Big Jiffer realizing they might need just a little bit more damage here, so swapping over to the Cassidy.
Shunem making some swaps here as well, and we're going to take another look. Shout out to Nick on these drone aerial views here as we head in on toward control center of the tower here. It'll be up to Penn Manor to find a win here and see if they can push it in toward that night market, but they found early success. It was that middle ground that they struggled with just a bit, and I think the alt economy played a big role in that. Voldiff sticking with the Roadhog for the time being, though.
Staying with the self-heal, staying with the sustain here. It does mean they have no extra barrier to guard that front line. Penn Manor did get the teleport out, so they could be a little bit quicker to accessing the point of attack they want to go for. Shunem, Big Jiffer, this combination, the change up to the Cassidy, allows them to go a little bit more long range, especially in a sub map like this one. You have a lot of openings to break open that damage.
Yeah, and I think, even though they have that Malga, not as much die potential there. So Big Jiffer not getting as much value from the Genji as would have liked. So I think this is a great swap for them. Hopefully it will pay out in their favor. They've already got good contention on the point. They will capture it here early once more. Baldiv dangerously low, has to back off a bit, but they've got the high ground, the med pack, and the ammunition to work with here. So we saw this in that first one as well. Penn Manor, early start, early pressure. It was West Branch that was able to work back. We'll see if they can do something similar.
When you pull the trigger here, I mean, Zebra Girl taken down to half, but still with all that utility piece in the back line, Suguragetu still holds the line as seeing the venture go back underground. Penn Manor just grabbed 25% for free. I don't know that you want to hook the big man as he's driving away. Baldiv loses a chunk of their HP, but quickly sustains it. 8% away from the whole hog as the Comet's still building up percentage.
Yeah, doing a great job here, just past that 40% mark. They've been able to pressure up. There's that whole hog coming out as you were talking about. The game slays, the Freya popping the bolo here as well, but not sure if there was a ton of value. Now Big Jiffer looking for that high noon. The Deadeye comes out. Can he find one? And now the shells continue to rain down here from Sugaretto as they look to maintain control of the point. It's shoot 'em. Inky game slays Baldiv. Everybody getting a piece of the pie, but shoot 'em. The triple kill, and they look to come alive.
It's a 2v1 here to finish it up. It's the DPS versus the big Malga man, but he's got two DPS cannons to the left and right side of those packs. 71% here, and what a beautiful Kitsune rush. That's one thing I don't want to fight, a Malga and a Sojourn. And now the dive forward takes down the tank. Bye-bye to your immortality field, and the cage will trap them in. Comets full clear up.
Big plays here. Malga, Shunem, everybody. Gunny, Cha-Cha doing the slide right in, looking to find that victory here. 90% now in West Branch. They don't have a single percentage, but guess what? Baldiv has broke out the hamster. It's time to have some fun.
It's time, baby. It's overtime, you could even say, for Penn Manor. Dodging away, Baldiv is dead! Suguragetu takes him down, the soldier grenade rips down everybody else, and the fuse is not long for this world. Submap number 3, here we come.
I mean, my jaw is on the floor from 199 near defeat there for Penn Manor to 100-0 against this #1 elite team of West Branch. This is something that we haven't seen too often, but Penn Manor has ignited the fire, and they are looking fierce here as we head on into Night Market.
And this is just map number 1. We could have 4 more of maps like these, and this is what playoffs is about. When it comes time, throw the seeding out the window, throw the regular season out the window, and you just gotta win for West Branch. They changed up their tank late in that submap number 2. It looks like they're gonna go with the Sigma for just a little bit more control over the point.
Honestly, I love Sigma. Been a big fan of Sigma for a long time, and maybe it's time to just let that melody sing here. Baldiv, we've shown that he's capable in multiple different tanks here, and so we'll see if this can be that swap they need. It seems like Malga, Big Jiffer now on the Cassidy. These changes have been working for him. Shunem there looks for this quick entry off the teleport, then swaps to Sojourn immediate and looks to catch up. So it looks like Penn Manor has a game plan here.
A game plan from both, and both think their game plan is going to succeed. One of them won't, and one of them is picking up a map win here after map number 1 for Baldiv. Is going to be rocking that barrier to just force away the opponents and really just hitting the bouncing balls here to make sure they could deal the damage. Suguragetu jumps to the back line, hits the rock in the face, and that's an off the edge. Fire Lord gets credited with the boop, but IJV gets a boop of their own. Shunem, IJV fighting back, and Baldiv can't survive. It's a team kill and a Comet's point.
Penn Manor looking for a big upset here today, and they're reaching deep in the pockets, pulling out all the stops here and playing very nicely as that cohesive unit. Now they look to eat up some of this space and make this first pressure through this choke point a bit tougher here. West Branch has to find a way to crack the code here because time slowly dwindling away.
20% already here For West Branch, you don't want to gather up those ultimates and just waste them away all in one fight like we saw in that submap number 2. For Penn Manor, they've got some good charges on their ultimate as well. For Shunem, 60%, as Suguragetsu pretty much just free fires. Nayo and Kiwi is at fault as Inkybear, the first to go down. Penn Manor is just finding their openings. The drive right into the backline takes down Nayo and Kiwi, and no Penn Manor member has died just yet.
Still standing tall here, and you take a look at the alt economy, how strong it is here for Penn Manor. West Branch falling behind. Ball diff has gone down. They need to wait for that reset of the tank, but Penn Manor is doing so much work here. Even if West Branch can find a way to capture the point, Penn Manor at that point would just have to win one of those engagements to pressure on and clutch up map number 3.
This could be their map. You talk about a short reverse sweep after losing that first sub-map. Here comes the drive. The Kitsune rush is there, and the damage is insane. Light them up as well with the sound barrier that reserves the health bars here. The West Branch Warriors need to find something, and Big Jiffer sends Inkybear back to the den. Ball diff is all on their lonesome, and that black hole can only eat up so much time.
Game Slays does find one consolation prize, but Big Jiffer has dropped Ball diff. They don't have a tank. Game Slays trying to battle back on their own. They'll finally get a little bit of a leeway, a little pressure. They make it onto the point. They'll be able to light that overtime fuse, but they've got to find picks and or kills here relatively soon. It's the cage, the Thunderdome, but Game Slays continues to slay.
Again and again, keeping the team alive. Shunem rockets them with the nade. That's 2 dead. Both supports down. The healing is very minimal, and Shunem is back. 3K. Ball diff takes down IJV, and another DPS is lost. This overtime fuse has not transitioned hands. Finally, Ball diff will get the point going their way.
99% yet again. They're finally able to bring it back, but now they have to win fight after fight after fight. And you take a look at the alt economy, it's just not quite there yet. This Maga and crew have done a good job of eating away at the damage here of Ball diff. You have to see him lingering outside, trying to work with that lamp. The slam down there as well, trying to be that disruption. Dangerously low though. Ball diff able to get back just in time.
To utilize those health packs here right now. Inkybear is just caught in a bad scenario. Big Jiffer the one to take him down, and just stacking the soldier and grenade right in the center of that point. Suguragetsu is up to 1500 HP as they dive forward off that sound barrier, and Shunem has got Ball diff. That is going to be overtime, lit and ready to go, and it is it. The back-to-back PIEA champions win map number 1.
Penn Manor, 100 again. This is unreal for them. They're playing up against this elite squad and playing very, very well. Every single one of these games has been either incredibly close or drastically in the favor of Penn Manor, and they do it again here in map number 3. They go up first in this series. They've got that first point. They get a B in that driver's seat, and now all of a sudden West Branch begins to feel the pressure of letting those championships slip away. So we knew it was going to be a banger, but I'm actually a little bit surprised on this one.
I mean, Penn Manor, through the offseason, had to make a lot of changes to their lineup, lost some seniors. I mean, they're still battling with back-to-back trophies in the cabinet, so that is a pretty good motivator to try and go 3 in a row. For West Branch, a really good fight from them. We knew as the number 1 seed they were going to come out swinging, but now they've been hitting the jaw, you could say. How do they respond going into map number 2?
I feel like they're going to take us right to Kings Row. I think they go right for that comfortability pick that, they haven't had as, honestly, though, maybe they don't. Maybe they switch it up because it hasn't been in that regular season mix. But I feel like, they have that luxury of getting not only to pick the mode, but where we head next. And so you have to feel like it is going to favor them a bit. Obviously, we talk about, sometimes it's almost better to go toward that flashpoint or that push so that that other team doesn't get a pick defense or offense or whatever they might want first. But so it'll be interesting to see where they decide to go, if they do go for more of that comfortability pick or if they're looking to throw a wrench in the mix.
It is kind of interesting. You talked about kind of the map pool being swapped up. There's a limited amount of push and or flashpoint maps that you can go to, and a limited set of maps overall. So even though we added Kings Row in, we took some things out. So maybe some of those more comfortable maps that you were playing towards the regular or postseason are now gone and out the window.
Yeah, I mean it's really tough to tell as well because it's obviously some days you have bad days, some days you just play really well, but when it's not a double elimination style bracket, when it just comes down to the fact that you have to show up every day, I think sometimes you feel that pressure a little bit more, especially in the Scholastic. I mean, these are young students who are handling it very, very well, and so I think that's important here for West Branch. They have to show that even when they do lose early, they're able to bounce back. That's what it takes to make a champion. I mean, we know why they're in the elite division. We know why they're the #1 seed in that elite division as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see them bounce back. But Penn Manor showing why they are such a great team. Shunem, the rest of the crew, time and time again, have been able to showcase their talent and show just how good they are. So it's exciting.
It very much is. And I think, again, you look at a #8 seed and you're like, sure, this is one of the bigger discrepancies in terms of overall seeding, but this is the team that was the highest ranked non-elite team. They missed it because of some of those senior swaps, but clearly they have a good program, great coaches behind them, and a great little bit of structure that has helped build just some phenomenal players. And as you said, players that are some senior is going to be graduating, doing some bigger and better things with some scholarships after.
Yeah, I think that's what's so great to see is not only they're out there showcasing the talent, having some fun, but they have an opportunity to better themselves. I know you and I we've talked about it a few times. Even with Waynesburg, how we've seen some of these players grow up and develop through California area and now making it onto the Waynesburg squad, not just for Rocket League, but for Overwatch, where they recently won a championship as well. And so I think that's part of the really fun part about these high school leagues is we get to see that youth kind of grow into it and really take a foothold there. And so it's been fun getting to tell that story as they grow and get better as well.
And the stories aren't going to stop. I've got to say, if you have not already booked your flights, booked your car, rental car, whatever it may be, for the LAN weekend at Mount Aloysius, it is going to be a ton of fun. Games all across Saturday and Sunday. And the good news is, okay, if you don't want to book a ticket there, we'll still be live here on these channels to broadcast it all for you.
Yeah, and honestly, I can't reiterate how exciting these lands are. The atmosphere is unmatched, and even if your team doesn't happen to make it, we would still love you to see you down there supporting the other squads and just getting a feel for that land environment. And come up and say hi to us. We love to put names to the gamer tags as well. So it's always a fun time at the LAN event, regardless of the outcome. We hope to see each and every one of you there.
You better be there, or you better be here in the stream. There's no other option. Book off the weekend. Nothing else is happening. PIEA champs. That is what is going on. And man, we're going to have a lot of talent out there this year, not only on the player side, but I know we're going to have some extra casters out there too. So it is just going to be a ton of fun. And you know what? There's other stuff to do there. I heard there's going to be an open to enter Mario Kart tournament. We're going to have our Super Smash Bros. Stream going on the side as well. It's going to be a heck ton of fun.
Well, they better hope I'm not casting they better hope I am casting during the Mario Kart tournament because I have a lot of kids. I've been beating them at Mario Kart for quite some time. That's a game I'm pretty confident in. So if I got some free time, I might be out there competing myself.
Gotta watch out, that mustache man. He's gonna take your first place prize if you're not careful. And that's the fun part. I think just for all of us, or we all just love video games. That's what it's all about, getting to play this, getting to spend time with some of your friends. And, for some of these players, this is going to be their final high school season before they graduate on. So just a fun matchup here. And for West Branch, starting 0-1 in the series, but a very, very close first overall map. I think for Penn Manor, you could be proud you take this first map, but as we always say, job's not done.
Absolutely. You can be proud, but you can't get complacent. You have to continue to play with that play style that has been working. And honestly, it certainly has been working very well for them. Even that first one that they lost was very, very close. So just some minor mistakes that West Branch was able to capitalize on. But honestly, it's refreshing. It just goes to show you how big the talent pool is because we have a lot of elite teams here. Penn Manor is still competing with teams in this elite division. So again, I think that just really speaks volumes for the ton of talent that's littered across PIA here in all the wonderful schools.
Of course, that's a good reminder. We've also got matchups all throughout the week here today as we view our secondary map. We're headed to Kings Row, as we kind of predicted, so a little bit more neutral of a map. But of course, we've got Rocket League tomorrow. We've got Valorant on Wednesday and Super Smash on Thursday as well. We've got some other Waynesburg streams that are going to be happening as their Rocket League team looks to battle through the NECC Championship Divisionals.
Yeah, and like I was mentioning earlier, I saw that the Overwatch team had won the championship there as well. I don't think they dropped a single game throughout the regular season. I know every single one that I casted for them was like 3-0 sweeps. So, and also Jordan from California area playing for them. That's one of those, high school students that we talked about bettering their career. And so it was wonderful to see, and hopefully they'll be able to grab a Rocket League title as well. But Penn Manor looking to close it out here, looking to send themselves into the semifinals. And I mean, what a great position they would be sitting in if they find a way to knock off the #1 team here this early.
I mean, you win on their map pick. You're going to something that's probably not a hybrid. Of course, can't pick the same exact map 2 times in a row, so could definitely give yourself an advantageous spot in that, right? But also, I mean, it's Kings Row. We know it. We've seen it. It's been there for many of seasons, and this is a chance for both teams to kind of flex your compositions in a little bit longer format, where it's not just, okay, one and done. You get one alt charge, and then good luck. You're on to the next sub map. It is very snowbally. If you can win those fights over and over, even if you're down to a minute or 30 seconds on the clock, it can change the entire course of the series.
I mean, we saw West Branch change the course of that first game there. It was Penn Manor that was dominating. They had a ton of percent, and really they only had to win one more fight. But West Branch was able to hold out, find those continuous staggers, and play well together. But Penn Manor then shifted up that comp just a little bit, and it's something that's been working for him. I think Shunem on that Sojourn has just been pretty devastating there with that railgun as well.
Well, we'll see if the railgun can swap into a sniper rifle here for Shunem as they pick up the Widow. It's map number 2, Kings Row, as West Branch will start on the defensive side here. Penn Manor going to start on the attacking side, so Widow in the window, the classic selection, and Baldiff is picking up the Orisa.
I was wondering if Shugoreto was going to stick with the hamster here. I was hoping to see someone play the hamster against Baldiff, but honestly, Shugoreto on this Malga has been very devastating. Also great against that ball that we saw earlier, but I think Orisa can play very well into this as well. It's going to be interesting to see this first choke point here for both of these teams. But Big Jiffer back on the Genji. Shunem maybe looking to snipe from old Widow's window here.
Doesn't really cost you anything. A free chance to do it, and up goes Jiffer up towards the high ground here. And again, West Branch starting on this defensive side. If they can set the tone, that's a nice opening spear there from Baldiff. Maybe just a taste of what we are going to get. Pursuit is going to send their way forward all the way through the point here. Already getting the congestion going on and starting to build up the bar. Going forward, Game Slays has found Shunem, and the spawns are just so far away for the combat.
And we'll see if they're able to get regrouped relatively quickly here, as we saw them begin to pressure onto the point. They almost got that first tick, but couldn't quite finalize it. Game Slays on the Freya, raining down the damage from above, and now Inky Bear has swapped in toward the Cassidy themselves here as well.
Making it so they have a little bit, again, range built into this composition. For Penn Manor, the Comets will head up to the window and look to drop on their prey. They're going to go for the full wraparound as the spear does connect on the long range capture. Not going to go through, but here's Big Jiffer. He's swapped back to the Genji, but it's going to be a target of the point. First bar is unlocked. We will trade Freyas as they die together, holding hands. The capture contest comes through, and Baldiff is ready to go, but the Genji has slashed away their backline. Just one DPS, one support to try and fight it, and Baldiff hits another beautiful spear.
Yeah, got to fear the spear. Orisa, the battle cattle. She's been a menace for many seasons and probably will be to come. Inky finding shots here as well. Penn Manor will stagger out just a bit. Ugeto looking to swap toward that Orisa here as well. They've gotten 2 ticks toward unlocking this payload. So all in all, a decent job here. But the ult economy right now for West Branch is a bit better.
We got 3 check marks in their favor. For Inky Bear and Game Slays, they can combine their ultimates to deadly efficiency if they so choose. But it's the Bolas taking down only the Immortality Field, and the Kitsune Rush combined with the Deadeye already coming through. Slice and dice, not good enough as Big Jiffer loses their life, and the sound barrier from IJF is keeping the fight going. But all this is doing is allowing West Branch to build up until the Kitsune Rush comes through, and Penn Manor bulldozes up.
Yeah, a great job here by Penn Manor to solidify unlocking this payload, and they do so with 4 additional minutes now, and so they give them plenty of time, to work toward this next choke point here. Not a ton of changes other than that swap over to Orisa here for Penn Manor, but it's been enough. Shunem on this Freya as well, and honestly, I'm pleasantly surprised that I get to see some Freya action here today.
That's a fun hero to watch for sure. I think combines that kind of skill shot ability along with, like we said, that glass cannon type build. Not the most health, but can do a lot of damage. Penn Manor already through the archway here. Baldiff does have the Terra Surge, but is going to utilize the Fortify early on in the fight. The healing from the backline good enough. The spear connecting again, pushing Big Jiffer away from the fight. Terra Surge through the wall there. Does a decent chunk of damage, but Penn Manor, nobody dies. They've got a Terra Surge of their own, and this one takes down Inky. Bolas have to be utilized, but it might just be too little, too late. The mortality field is down, health bars are low, but Penn Manor finds a way to survive.
Unum, a 2-piece on the back of it here as well, and continues to shoot these crossbow bolts downfield. Sugu has done great on this Orisa, and I like the fact that he's willing to say, hey, I will challenge the opponent Orisa. I don't mind a mirror match. I've got some skills to showcase here as well.
Skills paying the bills so far here, and quickly moving the way forward into the line of fire. Sugurageto is up to 36% on the ultimate. No ultimates to work with, 2 support ultimates on the other side. They need a contest now though. Kitsune Rush gonna be utilized to open things as IJF goes down to a headshot. Zebra Girl has to be careful here as they don't have a tank, they don't have another support, and West Branch use 1 ultimate to clean up everything.
Yeah, great stop. I mean, just a little less than 3 meters from that checkpoint, extending that time. So honestly, it's a great first initial push here for Penn Manor. They might have to stall out here a little bit, win some fights, and look to pad up that ult percentage. They do have the sound barrier to work with, a couple members that are close, but I think they're going to need more than that 1 ult probably to secure this push, because West Branch has a couple of their own.
Baldiff taken below half early. Shunem takes some damage as well. A full charge spear is a nice connection, and it's going to be Terra Surge combination after. A sound barrier to try and deny it here, but it was just a space denial ultimate there from Baldiff. Needs to stay alive. Inky Bear gets nothing. That's 2 ultimates for the price of free 99. And Penn Manor, they're going to big spend into this fight. They're going to send the extra spear into the faces, and they will unlock checkpoint number 1.
Continue to pressure forward fearlessly. We see them finding 2 additional picks. Freya going down here as well as Fire Lord. So West Branch has to be careful they don't stagger out here near the end of this push. Penn Manor, 2.5 minutes to find that final destination. They've got the Terror Surge and the Deadeye. Plenty of ults, 4 to work with to be exact.
The timing is everything, though. Kings Row is a map where just you want to make it to the end, but you also want to build up some of that time. You know your opponents can just as well. West Branch on the defense with this longer composition. The Ash is going to start to rain down over top, but the Kitsune Rush is just going to be a dodge away. It is every button press, 4 ultimates in total. And how do you stop this Comets team? Just 1 player on the contest. Baldiff is going to be cut down to nothing in the HP. The answer on how to stop him, you don't.
And Manor looking near flawless here today. That number 8 seed really showing up and putting on a clinic. An absolute cinema thus far. West Branch backs against the wall a bit here. I mean, they've got to find a way to dig deep. Of course, it is a best of 5. They still have another opportunity, but to allow an underdog like this to go up to match and series point this early could spell disaster. West Branch, they've been in tough positions like this before. They know how to navigate the rough waters, but are they going to be able to patch all the holes in the ship here today?
There's only a few holes, but they can quickly make the ship sink. West Branch needs to choose which hole to plug because they can't choose all of them at the same time. Right now, need to find the patchwork, and the answer that they choose is they said, why patch it with tape? We'll patch it with a bubble from Zarya.
Hey, I mean, Zarya is a phenomenal counter to heroes like Orisa or Diva, and so this is just a great decision from Baldiff. We talk about how comfortable they are on multiple different tanks, and that's a valuable asset to have when trying to lead your team to victory. Game Slays on to the Bastion. I know you and I will love to see some Bastion action here, so we'll see if that hailstorm of bullets will help put down Sugu Rugetto in this one, or if Penn Manor will be able to stifle and stop West Branch on this very important push.
Kind of that front-to-back team fight from West Branch. It's interesting because the Penn Manor backline is pretty fragile. They do have a lot of those healing abilities along with the cleanse from Zebra Girl. But Baldiff is going to look to lead the line. We'll see if Inky Bear does decide to play or just go for the teleport on this. I do like this choice on the initial first point just because those turrets are so pesky. You can get them inside, get those slowdowns, but Game Slays is already down to half on the entry.
Down, has to get healed up here and will do so. We can see him trying to move together here through the building, maybe get some of that high ground as well, but a little bit disoriented. They finally decide where they want to head, and now peppering in from both sides. It's a bit of a pincer play here from Penn Manor as they look to slow West Branch down once more.
Those turrets are so effective inside the building. They are baiting anybody to come their way. Game Slays down to 80. Inky Bear low as well.
Oh.
The spear, the double. Suguragetu burns down everything. And the teleporter will die with them. Now there's 3 members of West Branch just stranded in the 2nd floor of this apartment complex. And boy, the Comets are putting the pressure on to take those staggering kills.
Now we can see Sugu Rugetto up in this tiny hallway, and it could be a hallway of death against a monster like this. The Battle Cattle back on top, finds the 2K. Inky getting a consolation prize in the mix. Shunim has the bolo, has the ult to work with here as well, but might not need it because Sugu Rugetto is on an absolute tear.
What a start. Just opening up these team fights here with presence. The Bastion, as much as we love him, he's a kind of immobile guy. He doesn't do too well on his own without that grenade jump. And now for West Branch, they need to find a fight here soon to boost the time they have left to go. And it's going to come through a double long-range composition in the DPS. Inky Bear is just 40% away from calling down BOB.
Shunim has been holding on to this ult for the perfect time, has the Terror Surge now for Rugetto as well as they begin to inch forward. That ult economy still favoring Penn Manor at the moment. Baldiff on this Zarya hasn't had as much success as they would like, but the window comes up and now they have an opportunity to find a little bit of ground.
Their way forward here. I like the Terra pop right in front of the window. The Immortality Field is going to be the only threat that falls. Baldiff is able to take down Shunim though. That's a huge cut down. West Branch is going to invest Bob, but they just don't have the health bars to fight it. Everybody gets involved. Penn Manor is striking when the iron is hot, and Bob will be the final target to fall.
I mean, they did a good job separating themselves from Bob, but once the rest of the team fell, they said, hey, there's no one else left to take down. Let's just go ahead and get rid of Bob as well. Penn Manor playing lights out at the moment. Inky Bear onto the Ash, trying to pepper in some damage from a distance and allow the team to work forward a bit here. They've got a couple ults, including the Zarya one, to work with, but nothing really to counter with that Zarya ult at the moment.
They just really can't deal with all these angles that Penn Manor are trying to establish, dichotomizing their fight with 3 different ones. With Suguragetu down, this is your best chance. Through the air, they'll fight. Through the first chunk they will get, and it's going to be all up to West Branch and see if they can just hold the line here. The best case scenario would be without using any ultimates, but it's going to be Bob. Kitsune rushed on the other side, but it looks like stuck behind the telephone booth. Bob is able to take down Game Slays, but that's all they'll get. Suguragetu is back, but you've got to be worried about delaying out those spawns now. Somehow finding the damage and finding a one-on-one right inside the point.
I mean, even if Penn Manor loses this battle and they unlock the payload, they should have gotten it at that minute mark. All of a sudden, they've completely stalled them out. Now there's only 19 seconds left, and even though Big Jipper went down, Bob was enough to linger around and keep that point there for them. 10 seconds remaining. West Branch feeling the pressure now.
It's got to be a contest. It's got to be Game Slays that clutches up with his ultimate, and Inky Bear's dead. The long-range duel goes Penn Manor's favor. Game Slays does get a double, but the Terror Surge takes down the Immortality Field. No tag. Baldiff is dead, and the contest isn't there. Penn Manor, series point.
They had to start out on attacking, and then they made one heck of a defensive stand. West Branch might find themselves in trouble, and your play of the game, Stugu Rugetta, well deserved. The whole crew popping off here, but just continuing to assert that dominance, to eat up the space, and to chase down the competition. Penn Manor up 2-0 in this best of 5. If they find a way to win this next one, to not only beat the #1 elite team, but to break out the brooms and sweep them. If I was anybody else in this division, I'd be looking out.
If I'm anybody else everywhere, if I'm college, just give me this whole team at this point. Just look at Penn Manor and what they've built up now. 2 back-to-back championship runs in 2 back-to-back years, looking to make it 3 with a split-up roster with brand new players to this front-line varsity. And for West Branch, it's going to take a lot of effort here to try and pull off the reverse sweep. But if anyone could do it, I think the Warriors are the team you'd want to bet on.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't disagree with you, or couldn't agree with you more. I'm just used to disagreeing, I think, but I'm always playing devil's advocate. But I mean, West Branch, we talked about it earlier. These are situations that they've been in before and have been able to overcome. And so, as excited as you could get for Penn Manor, as favored as it looks like for them, again, like much in that previous game, they can't get complacent. They can't afford to relax too much and change up that play style, because West Branch is certainly capable of coming back into this game and sending us all the way to a best of 5.
And that's what we want. We don't necessarily want a quick series. We would love to see, especially a series with this much weight, go the full distance, see as many maps as possible. Because realistically, again, if West Branch don't win the next 3 maps straight, their season is done. It doesn't matter if they won an elite title. That's the smaller trophy in the cabinet. You don't get the bigger trophy of getting to say you are the best in the state of Pennsylvania for a whole year, mind you, until the finals next summer.
Yeah, and again, I think it would really just speak volumes for the amount of talent that we have over here if it happens to be one of these non-elite teams that goes on to clinch that championship. But we can speculate, we can talk about it all we want. We don't got to wait too much longer here to see if Penn Manor will get an opportunity to be one of those teams. We talk about that game here in a little bit of South Fayette, just kind of waiting to see who they're going to play. But they're a number 20 seed, still hanging around in it as well. And so I think we got word in the background here that it was Mountain View as well. And so if someone has toppled that CB West elite team as well, all of a sudden these elite teams beginning to fall a bit.
They can be as strong as they want in the regular season, but when it comes to postseason, you talk about a team like South Fayette, who, by the way, have teams littered all across this week looking to make multiple semifinals across different esports. They're entered as the 20 seed, but yet they've got this fight in them, and it feels like they want to go all the way to the finals. So, as you mentioned, that matchup coming right after this one, we've also got Carlisle versus Loyalsock and Spring Grove versus CB South on the other side of the bracket. And you talk about for Central Bucks, even if they lost there in the round before, in the Sweet 16, you could say, 2 teams from CB region getting into the playoff.
Yeah, I mean, CB has been known for putting up some really great teams, especially in that Overwatch department. So that certainly doesn't surprise me. Again, we can say it again and again at the risk of sounding like a broken record, but there truly is a ton of talent littered across the entire division here. And so it's fun to see it growing in that manner and to see this competition really come tenfold here. So excited for this one. And honestly, we love a good underdog story. I talk about it all the time. The state that I live in has a really bad football team. I'm used to being the underdog. So when we see these underdog teams perform very well, it's exciting.
Well, you wanted to talk about a manor. How about Penn Manor? We'll see if they could pull off the 3 sweep as we go to Havana. It's going to be the full escort here. And interestingly enough, of course, Penn Manor will get to choose where they're going to go in terms of the side selection, because it was West Branch that was able to make the choice in terms of map. Now, Penn Manor actually chose to play on the other side that we usually see, the attacking side, set the tone, and then slammed it out of the park on their defense.
Yeah, I mean, this is another great map for heroes like Widowmaker or Ash, especially on the first and third checkpoint. The city streets, the seafort, very open, lots of long sight lines. Now, when you get into the distillery, it's a lot more close quarter combat. Reaper can certainly excel there, but Reaper does have a lot more trouble on the first and third point. So Freya, I think, could be very good here as well. We've seen a lot of Freya. Sojourn, I feel like, is good everywhere. And so for me, again, what kind of compositions are we going to be seeing here in Havana?
I'm excited to see the change ups, and I just want to see the hamster ball. Give it to us at least once. I feel like Baldiff can't go out of the playoffs without playing that heroic namesake. Of course, this is your final possible map in the series if you do lose on West Branch's side. So you want to really come together, find what is going to work, and start off early. I think getting some of those team fights, especially during the beginning, we didn't see them really take any to start off Kings Row on their attacking side, and it set them back. They weren't trading ultimates super well. Every time they were in a losing fight, they pop an ultimate to try and save that. Would like them to see maybe do a little bit more reserved play. Let those ultimate hits you, take the team fight loss, that's okay, and then just regroup.
Yeah, and honestly, we might see a lot more of that team fight, especially in this opening section of City Streets, because it is very open. There's a long open street. You have those several buildings at the end with that high ground as well, and it can be very tough to make that push. But more importantly, if you don't make it all the way to that checkpoint and you have to respawn and you have to try to make that push without having the payload for cover, it can be very difficult on a map like this. So it'll be important to, once you get that payload rolling, keep it rolling at least until you get to that first checkpoint.
Try and keep it going, and right now that's what both these teams are trying to do for their playoff and season hopes. Just try and keep it alive. Try and fight not only to earn your spot in the semifinals, but also a spot on LAN, a possibility to play not only on Saturday, but Championship Sunday for the title in the best of the state of Pennsylvania. And you know what? It's just been a really, really fun season. A great shout out we've got to give to everybody that's been involved, from the highest level down to the students at the bottom, that make this amazing stuff happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many people working behind the scenes, and not just the students, but the family members and the community that come together to support the kids, to pick them up from practice. Or, we often talk about the parents at these LAN events telling us how they can't wait for Wednesday or Tuesday, whatever the day is, to sit down and watch their kids play and be casted. So it's great to see that support all the way around. And I've just been dying to get back to a LAN. I know we didn't have the conference LANs here these last couple of times. And so, you miss the kids and you miss those exciting moments that are in person. So certainly excited to be back down there here in a couple weekends to come, and hopefully get to meet a lot of new faces as well.
And hey, I'm initiating a challenge for all the schools right here, right now. Who's going to bring the biggest student section? Who's going to bring the biggest fan section? Because Forest Hills, the last time we checked, holds that record with bringing out the entire football team, a whole set of cheerleaders as well. So who's going to be the biggest fan section? I don't know.
Hey, we always love to see it. We always love to hear the fans, the parents, everybody rooting for the students as well, because they put in a lot of hard work to get where they are here today, and they are certainly very deserving of all of that credit. So, as Lama said, we look forward to seeing everybody there. Make sure you're not a stranger. We love to say hi to you and put names to those gamer tags that we talked about. But Penn Manor looking to punch their ticket here into the semifinals. And again, if they could do it in sweeping fashion, I feel like they all of a sudden look like the team to fear, even though they are that number 8 seed. A phenomenal performance here for them today, but they're not out of that deep water just yet. They have to continue to power forward here. West Branch backs against the wall as we get ready to head on down to Havana, Cuba for Havana.
Penn Manor select defense as well, so they're going to be starting out with a possibility to close out this series very, very quickly. West Branch, they're changing up to the Diva. They, I think, want to go for a little bit more divey, want to target that fragile backline here, and Inky Bear is going to have to use their long range. We'll eventually see what Game Slays decides to go with, if this Widow is a full lock or if it's just a kind of Widow on the terrace sort of scenario.
Yeah, she's very good on the first section and the third section here. So if you can find those early picks, get some pressure outward, can be very, very beneficial here. This is one of the very few maps that the distance is long enough for Widow to actually have some fall-off damage as well. So it just goes to show how big some of these sightlines are.
And we're ready to go. It's already into map number 3 here. West Branch on the ropes as Big Jiffer is going to use those high sight lines to start to pepper in. The one big thing you don't want to do on the attacking side is push that cart so far that you lose sight of it. It is a big tool to use the coverage of that escort cart to get up this ramp, and once you lose that, it can be tough to come back from.
And be tough to come back from. We talked about not having that payload for the extra cover there as well, but Ball Diff hanging back right now. Sugu dangerously low. I don't think they're aware that Ball Diff is back here. It's too early picks, and West Branch looks to power forward as Game Slays goes down. It's Inky Bear and Kiwi to combine for 2, and West Branch looking good on Havana.
I love that fight, and I love that they're actually going for the Mercy here. This allows them to reset in the mid-fight. They've been losing single picks because Shunem is just built different. For the first time today, swapping up towards the Tracer, going for some of that dive of their own. The Tracer has that big ability to, well, get some picks along with the Genji beside it.
Yeah, Jiffer's going to find Game Slays here early. Widow falling down here. Now they look to target him, but IJV's got Kiwi, and all of a sudden they lose to Penn Manor. Looking to make a little bit of a stand here, and we talk about how tough it can be once you lose control of the payload. Jiffer finds 2, and Sugu Rugetto chases him down on the Diva. And this has been my favorite thing today from Sugu. He's not afraid to challenge Ball Diff. Whatever tank you're going to play, I'm going to play it too.
And gonna play it better from the 2 maps they've already won here. Finding some dubs, they control the card. You could not ask for a better scenario from the Comets. For Big Jiffer and Shunem, they do have to be a little bit careful because of the damage they have selected. It doesn't really aid in the long-range ramp control, so they're gonna have to fight across the yellow pickup truck. A classic mode of transportation. Here is the flyback of the jets from Suguragetu. Picks up the health back and back to 400 HP. There is a pulse bomb up and available, but Shunem doesn't even need that to open up the first blood.
We talk about it. You got to have that knowledge of the map layout as well, and Sugu displaying that as well. It's equally important to know where those health packs are to take some of that pressure off of that support role there as well. It has the Diva Bomb in hand, but doesn't need it. Shunem helps. They combine for 1 there. Sugu Rugetto gets Game Slays as well, and with that, looks for another Inky. Zebra Bear both finding picks of their own, but it looks like Penn Manor coming out on top of the moment.
Just a big swing here, and they take down the Mortality Field. Naya and Kiwi the last to fall, as it looks like the trade down here from Suguragetu to try and take down Ball Diff. They will wait as long as it takes and then force out the spawn. A huge force as well. They got rid of Bob in that last fight. West Branch only have supportive ultimates to work with.
Smart play after smart play. Small things just like allowing Ball Diff to hang around. Nobody shooting her, allowing them to find that pick, continue that stagger, and that's tough, especially on that tank roll. But Aslama, and you shall receive. The hamster has made his way to the battlefield.
Got the Valkyrie. They're going to battle against just 2 huge supportive ultimates, and it's the Blade that slices, dices, and sends West Branch back to the spawn here. They've got the healing, and for Penn Manor, you don't want to overextend. This would be the worst moment to do so. Giving the Warriors some bit of life is a last-case scenario.
Shunem on that trace. We're able to get back in time here for the time being here, but Sugu has the ult still on deck. It's the only one left for Penn Manor. There's a couple on the side of the West Branch, including this window here. Could be combined with Game Slays to maybe find the pressure and get this first checkpoint. They're going to need it, though, because the overtime fuse is about to be lit.
They need to push it now, and without the Game Slays, their consistency in the damage relies all on this Cassidy. No more Mortality Field. Diva low though. Sugurageto. Do they just pop the bomb? Yes, they do. They've got the kill. They've got the remake. And they've got the kills to turn it around. Ball Diff. It is just like the regular season. Mines or nothing. And Ball Diff dies. The overtime fuse is relit, but for how long? For nothing. West Branch can't get to the first checkpoint. And Penn Manor lay the golden road.
Talk about a stop here from Penn Manor against this #1 elite West Branch team. Not only do they stop them in their tracks, they don't even get this first checkpoint. Penn Manor has not very far at all to go to solidify their dub and to knock out the juggernauts of West Branch. What a Cinderella story.
But Cinderella has got 2 championship trophies on the back. That's the different part of this story, is this program has built up season after season, riddled with medals across the shoulders, and now has a chance to book their ticket to the finals in just 2 weekends' time. 3 weekends, I guess you could say.
Something like that. I'm not counting. I'm just excited to be there. But we are in map 3. It is do or die for West Branch. We'll see ball dip back and toward this Roadhog here for Penn Manor. They've just got to get barely past 67 meters to close this one out. And man, do they look good here today. They've been playing so well together. And all of a sudden, Sugu Rugetto, he was toying with the idea of the hamster ball. And I would have loved to see it. It's just been a little display of these mirror matches back and forth. Again, I've loved the confidence here from Penn Manor, but looking to potentially maybe stick with this Orisa has been working very well. IJV, though, has been on the Lucio for the majority of the day. I like this little swap to Ana here just to maybe throw a little difference maker out here.
Slight change up. And the good news for West Branch, I think if there's any map you're going to hold the line on, this is the one to do it. You got to get ramp control, and here the cart starts pushing. Big Jiffer with this Widow really just has a chance to end West Branch's season. They're just eating up this Soldier Grenade, waiting for an engagement.
I'm not surprised that West Branch is okay giving them this much space. I mean, they get half the distance for free here, already up to 35 meters, and really no contention. Beautiful hook, though, as Baldiff says, get over here. Zebra Girl goes down. It's an early pick for West Branch, but Baldiff is in trouble. IJV has taken down the tank. They have nothing for the front line. Penn Manor, Sugu Rugetto, power forward, and they look to shut him down, but a couple nice picks from Inky and Kiwi will slow down this decisive push from Penn Manor.
The cart is far away now. This is a chance for West Branch, but they've got to hold. And Shunem has found the back line, or who has found who? Down to 93 HP, down to 100, but Big Jiffer has taken down Inky. The 1-for-1 DPS trade favors Penn Manor. They have the close range touch. They've got the res, though. All 5 players there, and Baldiff doing ball things.
Being that menace in the back line, causing the crew to turn around, getting in, getting out, working the ebb and flow of Overwatch. It's all down to Baldiff and the crew here. They've got to make a last-minute stand. There's only 7 meters left here for Penn Manor, and honestly, if they lose a member or 2, it could spell trouble. The Terra Surge instantly slams down. May put on ice. The spear doesn't find it. The spin to win, not quite yet. And again, they're still inching forward, though, here, Llama.
No DPS to fight this fight. Kitsune Rush will try and survive as it can. Baldiff has got some extra HP. Valkyrie's gonna be there. Inky Bear is back off the res. And Bob saves the day. The heroic muscle man to extra juice the offense. The mines are gonna slow down the offense. And West Branch is not dead yet.
They expend a lot of ultimates, 4 of the 5 in this battle, though, and Penn Manor has the close spawn. They've got a little more than a minute and a half to work with, so they just need to make sure they don't stagger in like doing so now. They need to regroup here together, find this final pushes. They've only got 3 meters to go. They've got 95 seconds to do it.
It's so close. It's right in front of them here, and Zebra Girl's ultimate is going to be critical, but Game Slays could counter it all. The close range fights after you get up the ramp favor this May. Here's that Kitsune Rush we were talking about. Baldiff is just gonna go ball mode, swinging around, disrupting, but it's a Nano Sugu Rugetsu that double kills the back line, and everything is falling. The tank is down as well, and Inky Bear will not survive. The Comets have booked their ticket to the semifinals.
And they do it in sweeping fashion. Penn Manor upsets the juggernauts of West Branch. And, well, we know they're back-to-back champs. Can they find a way to get the three-peat? And who else for your play a game? Yet again, Sugu Rugetto.
We get to watch the end fight once again, and target prioritization disallows the res, takes down the tank first, and then it's all easy rowing after that. The boat sinks for the Warriors, and Penn Manor are moving on to the next stage of the PIEA playoffs. And for West Branch, not a disappointing season by any means. The #1 seed going into playoffs, the victors of the Elite Conference, and overall, they've got a lot of really good pieces that next season, they're going to be another big threat.
Yeah, I mean, they continue to be a threat, and we see why. But now we get to head on to that other game we were talking about as well. South Fayette, another very talented team. Unfortunately, that 20th seed that has been powering their way through here in that postseason. And I believe they're going up against the 21st seed of Mountain View now, who was able to topple CB West there as well. May have been, I think I read maybe in a forfeit there, but nonetheless, they've made it here. And so excited for this next one, 20 and 21 seed.
It's going to be a crazy good matchup, and just as good as this one. Now you get to see a little bit forward. You do got to play this Penn Manor team that is also on a tear, but I mean, the Lions versus that Mountain View squad, 20 versus 21. It's going to be a good one, and I'll tell us, we've just got playoff action all week long.
Yeah, and here's the crazy thing, right? There's no elite teams left on our side of the bracket, but on that lower side, there's still 4 elite teams duking it out there. So it's really tough to envy anybody. I think everybody going forward here is going to have a very tough game, but we do need to take a moment to get these players loaded into that lobby for the next one, guys. So please grab those snacks or drinks, but you don't want to go too far. When we come back, we've got more Overwatch action.